All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I would like to give all the praise and the glory and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Raha Kodash, which has given me the spirit and the strength to do this lesson. And I also want to give up honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone, who rule well and teach well through the spirit and the power of Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai. Wa Shalom, wa Barakim to the elect. Beginning with the 144,000, which are scattered abroad and in every place, redeeming the time and ready to be saved. Shalom. All right. Basically, pretty much, I want to get into, a lesson that's going to pretty much be our exhortation. All right. To those that may hear it, and I baratize exhortation. All right. Because that's what we're here to do, teach the word and to exhort, the body. All right. But yeah, man, with that being said, pretty much the topic of this lesson is going into knowing when we came into truth, or rather, why are we, crying about afflictions when we knew this is what we signed up for? All right. Why are we crying about the hill we going through or that we go through, knowing that we signed up for it? All right. And I know me personally, when I first came into the truth, when I was first introduced, to the ministry through the spirit of Yahweh Shema Shai, one of the first scriptures I learned was the book of Sirach, the second chapter, beginning at the first verse. All right. My son, when thou come to serve the Lord, prepare thy soul for temptation. All right. That's one of the first things I learned. All right. When I entered into this truth, that we're going to suffer. All right. And I believe wholeheartedly that's through the spirit. I believe wholeheartedly that, any brother that come into the truth, that I believe that the spirit allows you to be introduced to that, and in your beginning, phases in this truth. I believe that the spirit allows that to be, a thing that you first learn when you come into this truth. With that being said, man, we learn that, and then here it is. You growing in the truth, you growing in this ministry, and then hey, things get tough, man. All right, whether it be mentally, all right, you going through things financially, no matter what it is, all right, and Jay can complain, man. And we all been through it. See, I'm speaking to myself first and foremost. All right. But you come to realize that, you know, um, this is something that, we um expect. Afflictions is what we expect, man, because we've been told. All right, we've been told that that we was gonna go through hell. All right, so there's no need to complain about it. There's no need to complain about it. I mean, look at it this way: what is complaining going to do? What is crying about it going to do? Absolutely nothing. All right. So might as well suck it up. I mean, don't get me wrong. Yeah, we know it sucks, and you may vent. You know, but sometimes it's just, for the most part, we need to keep our mouth shut. And suck it up. All right. And as we grow in this ministry and grow in this knowledge and truth, you learn to do so. And you still might slip up. You still might get weak every now and again. But for the most part, you're growing. You'll grow and learn to keep your mouth shut, because you know. And if you don't know, that pleases Yahweh Shema Shah. All right. When he push you through something. And I said this a while back ago. Hey, the Lord might, keep putting you through something just to test you, to see if you gonna, cry about it. All right. He might put you through something. Okay. And when he put you through whatever it may be, you crying about it, you complaining, and then, he still bring you out of it. All right. Especially if he dealing with you, he gonna still bring you out of it. But then guess what? He'll backdoor, you with another affliction, another jacked up situation. All right. Just to test you, man. And if he dealing with you, you eventually get the point, man. I mean, I'm just saying, the Lord, that's how he works. That's how he works, man. Because he don't want us to be complaining and crying every time he put us through something. Especially if we already know about it. Especially when all right, what you're in this, especially when you know that what you're involved in. Especially when you know that you've been brought into this truth just to suffer. When you know that, all right, why the fuck, when we know that, why the fuck are we crying about when, we're met with affliction? All right. Hey, when you read about Yahweh Shai, that's why Yahweh Shai is the man, because he went through the worst. But yet, as it says in Isaiah, he opened not his mouth. All right? He didn't complain. Oh, Lord, why? And he wasn't in that wars me spirit. Okay? He didn't complain. He took his cross like a man. All right? Matter of fact, with that being said, I want to get the scripture in the book of Matthew, the 10th chapter. All right, this is the book of Matthew, chapter 10, verse 38, and this is Yahweh Shah speaking. And it says, he that taketh not his cross, that's right, and he that taketh not his cross and followeth after me is not worthy of me. You see? Yeah, salvation. Okay? You're not worthy of salvation. All right? Okay, so let's read that again. And it's Yahweh Shai, Matthew 10 and 38. And he that taketh not his cross, all right? Cross represents affliction. All right? Straight situations that you be placed in, all right? Yahweh Shai said, and he that taketh not his cross and followeth after me is not worthy of me. That's right. So we got to go through the fire. We got to go through the hell, all right, in order to be saved. All right? We got to go through that first. Because, look, it's a balance, all right? You either going to go through it now or go through it later. All right? A false balance is an abomination unto Yahweh Bashima Shai. So you either going to go through it now, and I got to keep reminding myself this as well. I'm in the flesh just like you brothers, and you few Akwath, all right? You're going to either go through it now or go through it later. Or you either going to be what's the word I'm looking for? You either not gonna go through it now and go through it later. All right. Yahweh Shai said it. Woe unto you that laugh now, for you for you shall cry later. All right. So, hey, really, we should be rejoicing that Yahweh Shema Shai is spanking us, man, right now, because that's a great indication that you are a man of the elect. All right, because if you're not going through things, you're not a man of the Lord, man. You're not a member of the elect. All right. So we know this, man. We know that we have to be persecuted spiritually, internally. All right. And all and via all sorts of ways, man, in order to be saved. We know this. So therefore, when we do come across, when it's our turn to be judged, we should not be crying about it, man, because we know it's always, the Lord, he'll look out, he'll give us a peace, because once again, there's no false balance here. It's a balance to everything. I always remember that too, Aki. All right, and you through Aqua. It's a balance to everything, man. And I always remind myself that too. When I'm going through something, I always remember that balance. Like, look, he not going to keep me down at a lower state forever. He not going to keep me uh, without, you know, a job forever. He's not gonna keep me without a car forever. He's not gonna keep me without, you know, whatever. You know, it's a balance. He'll eventually bring you out of that. All right. So once again, knowing that, we should not be crying and you know, ready to spaz out. And I get it, you know, we're in the flesh, so you know, and Jake, you know, get fed up, but we gotta pray for that increase in strength. All right. Because like I said, Yahweh Shema Shah, he loved to see us suffer and suffer with integrity, all right, resilience, all right. Because you know, Yahweh Shema Shah is ultimately bringing us through this hell often, might I add, to make us impenetrable, all right. Look that word up. If he's dealing with you, he's shaping and molding you to be impenetrable. Because look, we coming in times where you're gonna have to be such. Ain't no room, and in time of the climax of Slacky. In the time of the climax of Jacob's trouble, ain't no room for being soft, man. All right. And Lord if he dealing with you, he gonna make sure, you know, he gonna make sure you ain't soft in that time. You know why? Because he gonna put all the hell he can on you until you get right, man, and get to where he wants you to be. Because, hey, we gonna need that strength, man, and that strength is gonna only come, you know, via Yahweh Shema Shah. So that's not complain, brothers, and you fruit out quiet. That's not complain. You know, that's not cry about the hell. Yeah, it sucks. It sucks. You know, you can be like, damn, man, this, you know, but hey, but pray. That's just, you know, rather cry unto Yahweh Shema Shai for help and just deal with it. You know, deal with it. And I'm gonna say this too. That's a part of being stoic. You know, a part of being stoic is not crying and complaining every time you fall, all right, to a lower state. You are afflicted. That's a part of being a stoic. All right. All right. And I'm gonna get some precepts. What's that? The book of Micah. Salaki. Let me see. We got a book of Micah. Let me see. Let me find what I'm looking for. Mm, 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 mm. Let me see. Salakia. Okay, this is what I want. Micah the 7th chapter, verse 9. It says, I will bear the indignation of the Lord. That's right. You know, you know, I'm gonna read that again. Micah chapter 7, verse 9. I will bear the indignation of the Lord. That's right. Dealing with it. All right. Deal with it. Like a man. All right. He said, I will bear the indignation of the Lord because I have sinned against him. You see that? So we know that we deserve, you know, to be punished. All right. And he could do worse, worse to us. All right. So we shouldn't be crying about it. You know, like Micah said here, I will bear it because I know I've sinned. I know I went off. And remember, you know, we sinned in our previous lifetimes. All right. So the punishments, the afflictions we go through, it ain't like we don't deserve it. All right. We deserve it indeed, man. All right. So we gotta suck that shit up and keep it moving. All right. It says, I will bear the indignation of the Lord because I have sinned against him. All right. Until he plead my cause and execute judgment for me. That's right. He will bring me forth to the light, and I shall behold his righteousness. That's right. So the point is that we have to bear the indignation of the Lord. All right. Get one more in the Book of Lamentations. All right, this is the Book of Lamentations. And Lamentations chapter 3, verse 25, it says, the Lord is good unto them that wait for him, to the soul that seeketh him. And it says, verse 26, it is good that a man should both hope and quietly, you see that? You see that? The word quietly. That's highlight that word. All right. It said quietly. Okay. It says, it is good that a man should both hope and quietly wait for the salvation of the Lord. It is good for a man that he bear. All right. Like we just read in Micah, the 7th chapter. All right. In the 9th verse, it says, it is good for a man. All right. A man. Let's highlight that word. All right. They didn't say, it said a man, not a boy. All right. Because a man is going to bear the indignation of the Lord. All the prophets were real men. All right. Yahushua, or the head. He was a real man. Real man. Okay? A real man is gonna take the afflictions of the Yahweh Shai like a stoic. All right. It says once again, chapter 3, Lamentations chapter 3 and 27. It is good for a man, that's right, that he bear the yoke in his youth. That's right. That he bear the yoke in his youth. You see that? You see, because we all came into this, we come from the apostles, all right? We all came into this truth young, all right? I'll read that again. It says 27. It is good for a man that he bear the yoke in his youth. That's right. It says, verse 28, he sitteth alone and keepeth silence. There go that word silence again. You see? He sitteth alone and keepeth silence, not complaining, not crying about the affliction that you've been called to bear. All right? It said he sitteth alone and keepeth silence. Now check this out. Because he hath borne it upon him. Whoo! Man, I gotta read that again. It says, he sitteth alone and keepeth silence, because he hath borne it upon him. Yeah, when you came into this truth, this is what you signed up for, man. All right? We know this. So therefore, we keep silent. Like, man, shit, man, I already know this was coming. We already know, the time is around the corner when we gotta that our endurance is going to be tested. All right, we might as well stay ready, even when things are going good. Don't lose focus. I always know that things are going good. Yeah, it's finna get bad. It's finna get something finna happen, and don't let that take weigh on your mind is either. Just know that, it's going to come. I'm going to read that again, man. He said it alone and keepeth silence, because he hath borne it upon him. Yeah, we brought it. Look, we came to the truth. Look, we brought it on ourselves, man. Just like that. All right. So it says, verse 29, he put his mouth in the dust. Yep. If so be, there may be hope. All right. Then it goes on to say in verse 30, he giveth his cheek to him that smiteth him. He is filled with reproach. For the Lord will not cast off, this is verse 31, for the Lord, Yahweh Shemel Shai, will not cast off forever. All right? Yeah, for our iniquities. For the Lord will not cast off forever. But though he cause grief, now, like I said earlier, remember the balance. All right? Remember the balance. He giveth, he taketh away. He may give you certain pleasures. All right? But he'll also take those pleasures away. He might give you a woman, but he'll take that woman away too. All right? He may give you a job, but then he'll take that job away too. All right? He's not all about, ruining your damn life, man. Nah, he'll look out too, man. And that's what we reading here. It says, verse 32, but though he calls grief, yet will he have compassion. You see that? According to the multitude of his mercies. All right, that's right. Just like Job. All right. Job went through hell, lost everything, but what happened in the end? He gained more than he had through the grace and mercy of Yahweh Shemal Shai. You see? So we don't need to be crying about nothing when the Lord brings us through tests. Yeah, and once again, I said it, and I'm going to say it once more. It shit suck when the Lord put his hand on you, spiritually. That shit suck, man. I ain't sitting up here saying that, like it ain't gonna affect you. Don't let it affect you. You gonna be affected. All right. But what I'm saying is, all right, just deal with it. Don't be getting all weak, because that shows a lack of faith. And I'm speaking to myself first and foremost, like I said, man. I said it again. I'm speaking to myself first and foremost, because look, I ain't perfect. All right. I know I ain't perfect. I know the Lord be looking at me sometimes, be like, this man, nigga, suck this shit up, man. All right. But I will say this, the Lord has given me strength. All right. And I'm growing, through the Spirit. And Ka Halai, Ka and Ka Halai, Yahweh Bashim Al Shah, Barakatah Yahweh Bashim Al Shah for that. All right? Because, hey man, being weak can get you to fall out the truth, man. That can be the cause of you falling out the truth. All right? All right, so instead of crying about it, complain about it, rather give him thanks. All right? I know how crazy that sounds. You giving them thanks for putting you through some crazy shit. It sounds crazy, but hey, what it said in Job? Happy are those that are in Job, the 5th chapter. Happy are those that matter of fact, I'm gonna close out with that. Because once you understand, that the Lord, when the Lord cares about you and loves you, he gonna spank you. Once you understand that shit, yeah, you be in grief, you be in grief, but simultaneously you be like, man, the Lord must really love me, and that brings joy in the midst of your affliction, man. All right. But I'm gonna get this in the book of Job, the 5th chapter. And going on 34 plus minutes. All right. Job, the 5th chapter, it says, verse 17, it says, behold, happy is the man whom the Most High correcteth. That's right. You see that? Behold, happy is the man whom the Most High correcteth. Therefore, despise not thou the chastening of the Almighty. You see that? crying, complaining. All right. Whew, I got to read that again. Verse 17. Behold, happy is the man whom the Heavenly Father corrected. Therefore, despise not thou the chastening of the Almighty. You see that? Because if he's dealing with you or you being corrected by him, you in a good place. That's why he said, happy is the man whom the Most High corrected. Therefore, despise not thou the chastening of the Lord. So we ain't got nothing to fucking complain about. Yeah, all right. So yeah, Lord willing, it was edifying. Until next time, shalom.